Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for giving me the time today. My piece is called The Language of the Air. This work explores the physicality of tapestry weaving, its connection with language and environment. I was specifically inspired by the work of the 6th century poet Sappho, and also the text A Room of One's Own by Virginia Woolf, as well as my surroundings of New York City. So I'm going to read a poem that I wrote that goes in accordance with my installation, and then talk a little bit about materiality. The language of the air. Virginia Woolf conceived a thought as a glimmer in a body of water, lingering in the ebb and flow, its hazy silhouette something not yet formed. And like that notion, this warp, my body of water, holds a form which is not yet distinguishable. This linen is the page where lines are drawn and ripples form. And Sappho wrote of a golden flower, an emblem of love so strong. As its petals rise from the waters, we know it to be fully true. Uprooted, this archaic form begins to grow, to learn the language of the air, to bloom. It glows. The needle carries my threads, my hand empowered to carry that bloom. It attunes me to the moment, and as I weave over and under, I think of that dove with the beautiful curved head, the balcony and the clouds, the buttery early evening light, that Sunday that was endless, the vacant lobby. My mind is full yet clear. In the morning, Sappho's plectrum strums. I begin to weave across, manifesting my own sacred space. As I piece together these fragments, I think of that time I took the train to the end of the line, collected pebbles on the beach, each stone so vaguely familiar. So now I bind them and savor those fragments and savor my ability to explore and be. It's 11:47 on a hot Brooklyn night. Through my open window, I smell the magnolia tree 5 floors down. I finish weaving the cross and a small black dot enters my eyeline. An ant. She climbs my warp thread, nestles a moment between some rows of golden yellow silk, then continues onward. I smile at her ingenuity. My cloth, her mode of transport. A weight has been lifted. And as she climbs, I wonder what bloom she carries. So this is my installation, The Language of the Air. It is woven on a handmade tapestry frame from scrap wood I found on the street, and it's specific to my body dimensions, so has a real relationship to me and my proportions. It was woven intuitively, so I didn't plan the design at all, but let the writings of these two women impact what the final outcome would be. To the right is a poem of Sappho. It's a fragment from the 6th century, a translation from the ancient Greek. And I used her words to inspire the materials that I put into the woven work itself. So here she talks of the golden flower that resembles love, and I have dyed these yarns with marigold and turmeric. Here's a little backstage of my bathroom doing the dyeing. And also this poem here, The Lament for a Maidenhead, which talks of this strong purple hyacinth. So here I'm using logwood, and all my materials are sourced from pre-consumer textile waste plant in Brooklyn, where I volunteer. I also talked of the stones which reference traditional weaving tools, which I have researched thoroughly throughout my time in my program. These are really beautiful objects that are significant markers of the history of weaving, weavers and their landscape. So I, on my walks, collected stones that are significant places for me, and wrapped them in the ends of the tapestry as these symbolic markers of this historical dialogue with the canon of weaving. On the pillow below the piece sits this small loom, which I call a Prosaiclum. It's made from small objects that I found on the streets of New York. So deconstructed home appliances, bound together with thread, which I weave from. The small weaving sits on a book of Sappho's poetry, and they're all placed on top of my bedroom pillow, which I sat on as I wove the piece. And on the right again is another piece by Sappho, talking of the pillow as a gesture of love and intimacy. So I really think that weaving is intrinsically linked with love and our place on earth. And this piece in itself, the installation, is it really harks back to traditional narrative tapestry, I would say, and creates a peaceful space for storytelling and reflection. I'd like to thank you for taking the time to listen to me today, and thank you for sharing all your work as well.
Thank you, Erin. Beautiful.